Let us start with solving multiple choice questions on the remaining part. Okay, that is in transport and plants. Okay, and in the previous YouTube class, I discussed the questions up to 91, and let us continue with the next concept called transpiration. Okay, and under this heading, I'm going to solve the questions. Okay, and here question number 92. Okay, what is there? Stomata helps in. Okay, stomata helps in. The options are like this. One is transpiration, then second one is the exchange of gases, then third one is both A and B, then fourth one is none of these, right? And here stomata helps in. Okay, stomata helps in option C. Okay, option C is the correct answer, both A and B. Okay, because stomata means what here? They are nothing but uh, the microscopic openings. Okay, stomata are nothing but microscopic openings present on the surface of the leaves, right? Okay, and they will help in both the transpiration as well as the exchange of gases, right? Okay, and so option C becomes the correct answer, right? Okay, then let us move on to the next question. Transpiration is affected by. Okay, transpiration is affected by. What are the different options here? One is humidity, then second one is wind speed, then third one is light and temperature, then fourth one is all of these, right? And here mm, uh, all these will affect the rate of transpiration, like humidity, wind speed, light and temperature, right? And remember, all these are the external factors. Okay, external factors which affect the rate of transpiration, right? And so option D becomes the correct answer, right? Okay, then question number 94. The plant factor which affects the transpiration are. Okay, the plant factor which affects the transpiration are number and distribution of stomata, then number of stomata open, then water status of plant, then all of these, right? And here, and what they mentioned here, they mentioned all the plant factors which affect the rate of transpiration. Okay, so all of these, option D is the correct answer. Okay, then next question, let us go for next question. Question number 95, right? What is the question here? Transpiration driven. Okay, transpiration driven ascent of sap depends mainly on the dash physical properties of water, right? Transpiration driven ascent of sap depends mainly on the dash physical properties of water. Okay, and here one is cohesion, then second one is adhesion, then third one is surface tension, then all of these, right? And here already we have studied that. Okay, transpiration driven ascent of sap means what here? Due to transpiration only the ascent of sap will take place. Okay, how it will take place? And it is due to mainly the development of the force. Okay, that is the transpiration pull, and along with that in the xylem vessels all these properties will be there, like cohesion, adhesion and surface tension, right? And so we already studied that cohesion means what? The mutual attraction between water molecules. Then adhesion means attraction of water molecules to polar surfaces. Okay, polar surfaces of the uh, polar surfaces. It means what here? The water molecules are adhered or attached to the surface of the tracheary elements. Okay, tracheary elements means what here? They are nothing but the vessels or tracheae as well as the tracheids, right? Okay, and surface tension. Surface tension means what here? Water molecules are attracted to each other in the liquid phase more than to water in the gaseous phase, right? Water molecules are attracted to each other in the liquid phase more than to water in the gas phase. Okay, this is surface tension. Okay, and all these physical properties of water, they will provide high tensile strength. Okay, uh, high tensile strength during the ascent of sap, right? Okay, then for question number 96, option D is the correct answer. Okay, then let us move on to the next question, question number 97. Okay, what is there? Force generated by transpiration creates, force generated by transpiration creates pressure sufficient to lift a xylem sized column of water over dash meters. Okay, and here the correct answer for this one is, it is 130 meters. It is 130 meters. Okay, so option A becomes the correct answer, right? Then question number 98. Okay, sap ascends. Okay, sap ascends in what woody stems because of the root pressure. And okay, and what are the different options given here? A transpiration pull, then capillarity, then molecular adhesion, then photosynthesis, right? And here for question number 98, sap means what? Here I told you, water along with the minerals, it is called as the sap, right? It ascends in woody stems because of the root pressure and even the transpiration pull. Okay, option A is the correct answer, right? Okay, root pressure also develops, and in addition to this one, transpiration pull is also involved in the ascent of sap, right? Okay, so option A is the correct answer, right? Then let us move on to the next question, question number 99. Okay, and this is a diagram based question, and you can find this diagram in page number 188, figure 11.9. Okay, and this diagram explains about the water movement in the leaf. Okay, and evaporation from the leaf sets up a pressure gradient between the outside air and the air spaces of the leaf, right? And the gradient is transmitted into the photosynthetic cells and on the water filled xylem in the leaf vein, right? And here, but the question is asked here, we are going to identify the different parts, like labeled parts like A to F. Okay, and here for question number 99. Okay, for question number 99, the among the different options, okay, here A becomes the correct answer. Okay, and here in a leaf, A level is related to phloem, right? And remember, in case of leaf, or if we study the anatomy of leaf, normally the xylem will be present towards the upper epidermis, and the phloem will be present towards the lower epidermis. Okay, and this will be in reverse in case of stems, right? Because the xylem will be present towards the inner side and the phloem will be present towards the outer side. Okay, but in leaf, what I told you, xylem will be present towards the upper epidermis and phloem will be present towards the lower epidermis, right? Okay, and here option A is the correct answer. Okay, A indicates phloem, then B indicates diffusion into surrounding air, then C indicates guard cell, then D indicates xylem. Okay, then E indicates stomatal pore, then F indicates palisade tissue, right? Okay, F indicates palisade tissue. Okay, and while studying anatomy, you have studied about the palisade cells. Okay, why we call them as the palisade cells? They are nothing but elongated parenchyma cells which contain chloroplast, right? Okay, such cells are called as palisade cells. Okay, So option B becomes the option A becomes the correct answer here, right? Okay, then let us move on to the next question, question number 100, right? What is there? The most widely accepted explanation. Okay, the most widely accepted explanation for the ascent of sap in tree is, right? A is capillarity, then B is role of atmospheric pressure, then C is pulsating action of living cells, then D is transpiration cohesion theory of Dixon, right? Okay, and for question number 100, option D becomes the correct answer. Okay, the most widely accepted explanation or mechanism for the ascent of sap in tree is transpiration cohesion theory of Dixon. Okay, and here in textbook we have studied about this particular theory only. What it is there in page number 188, you can refer. The transpiration driven ascent of xylem sap depends mainly on the physical properties of water. Okay, it explains about the transpiration pull uh, concept only, but the scientist name is not there, and here they have mentioned the scientist name, right? uh, Option D is correct. Transpiration cohesion theory of Dixon, right? And next question, question number 101. The path of water from soil up to secondary xylem is, right? Secondary xylem means in root the metaxylem will be there, right? Okay, protoxylem and metaxylem, right? And here the first option is soil to root hair cell wall, then to cortex, then to endodermis, then to pericycle, then to protoxylem, then to metaxylem, right? And you read the remaining all the options, right? And for question number 101, option A becomes the correct answer. It means what here? The water will move from soil to the root hair cell wall, then from root hair cell wall to the cortex, then from cortex into the endodermis, okay, then from endodermis into the pericycle, the next part. And remember, endodermis is the innermost layer of the cortex, right? Okay, and remember, endodermal cells are deposited with the substance called as suberin, right? Okay, pericycle means what here? The stellar region always begins with the pericycle, right? And in the stellar region, there will be the arrangement of the vascular tissues like xylem and the phloem, right? And from pericycle to water enters into the protoxylem elements, and from protoxylem elements into the metaxylem elements, right? Okay, protoxylem and metaxylem, right? Okay, and this is the correct sequence, right? And here in the question they should ask, instead of secondary xylem, they should ask metaxylem, because protoxylem is the primary formed um, the early formed primary xylem elements, they are called as the protoxylem. Metaxylem means the later formed primary xylem elements are called as the metaxylem elements. Okay, but when the secondary xylem is formed after the secondary growth only, okay, um, after the secondary growth only, the secondary xylem will be formed, okay, in case of normally in case of the dicot root, right? Okay, so option E becomes the correct answer. Okay, but in the question, instead of secondary xylem, we can make it as the metaxylem, right? Okay, then question number 102. What is the question here? A plant with well washed roots. Okay, a plant with well washed roots is placed in a beaker of water diluted with red ink. Okay, the red color travels up the stem and into the leaf veins. Which of the following should be the correct explanation of the uptake of red ink into the roots, right? And here for question number 1 or 2, okay, the different options are like this. What are the different options here? The red ink entered the root hairs by osmosis. Then next one is the molecules of red ink is diffused into the root hairs. Then third one is the membranes of the root hairs are destroyed and the red ink could enter. Then fourth option is the molecules of red ink passed from a region of low concentration to one of a high concentration, right? And for question number 1 or 2, option A becomes the correct answer, right? The red ink entered the root hairs by osmosis, right? Option A is correct, right? And here remember, mm, this question is related to the balsam plant experiment only. Okay, that proves that the ascent of sap takes place through the xylem, right? Okay, so option A is the correct answer, right? And let us move on to next question. Question number 103. Question number 103. What is there? Exudation of xylem is due to. Okay, exudation means what here? Oozing out. Okay, coming out, right? Exudation of xylem is due to uh, passive absorption, then root pressure, then guttation, then presence of transpiration, right? Okay, and here according to the given question, uh, why the exudation, or why the exudation means the xylem liquid portion will be there, it will come out. Okay, why it will come out? Due to the root pressure which is developed in the root part only. Okay, and we have studied this one. It is nothing but the positive hydrostatic pressure which is developed in the roots. Okay, and because of this only, okay, when we cut the plant stem near the base, okay, a small plant stem near the base, then there will be exudation or oozing out of the sap or liquid from the xylem. Okay, it is mainly due to the root pressure. Okay, and for this process, which is for the exudation process, which is responsible here, root pressure, right? Okay, so option B becomes the correct answer, right? Then question number 104. What is there? By what mechanism does water moves through vessels and tracheids? Okay, by what mechanism does water moves through vessels and tracheids of root, stem and leaves? Okay, root comma stem and leaves, right? And here, mm, the different options are like this. One is osmotic flow, then second one is bulk flow, then third one is gravity flow, then fourth one is imbibition, right? And here for question number 104, option B is the correct answer. Okay, it is called as bulk flow or mass flow. Okay, by what mechanism does water move through vessels and tracheids of root, stem and leaves, right? And it is nothing but bulk flow only, right? Option B is the correct answer, right? Then let us move on to question number 105. Okay, what is the question here? When the cut end of a shoot, when the cut end of a shoot is placed in a solution of saffronin, the presence of dye could be located in. The presence of dye could be located in. What are the different options here? Cortex, then tracheid elements, then phloem, then pith region, right? And for 105, what is the correct answer here? Option B. Okay, tracheid elements. Okay, tracheids. Okay, and remember, both tracheae and tracheids, they are together called as the tracheary elements. Okay, and which are responsible for the water conduction, right? Okay, when the cut end of a shoot is placed in a solution of saffronin, the presence of dye could be located in tracheid elements, right? Okay, and this is also nothing but the balsam plant experiment only, to prove that the ascent of sap which occurs through the xylem, right? Okay, so option B is the correct answer, right? Then next one, question number 106. Okay, what is there? Bulk flow of water occurs through. Bulk flow of water occurs through living cells, cell vacuoles, then apparent free spaces, then plasmodesmata, right? and here what is the correct option here? And for question number 106, okay, bulk flow of water occurs through apparent free spaces, right? Okay, it is nothing but the apoplastic movement. Apoplastic movement. Okay, apparent free spaces means what here? Say for example, the cortical cells in case of root. Okay, they are arranged and a lot of intercellular space will be there, right? In the cortical cells they show the intercellular spaces. In all these spaces the water can move freely in a bulk, right? Okay, and because of this reason, for question number 106, option C becomes the correct answer. Okay, then go for let us go for question number 107. What is there? The continuity of water column in xylem. The continuity of water column in xylem is maintained due to the, okay, what are the different options here? Presence of air bubbles, then cohesive property of water, then evaporation power of water, then none of these, right? And for question number 107, the continuity of water column in xylem is maintained due to the cohesive property of water, right? And here we studied that what is cohesive property or cohesion here. It is nothing but the mutual attraction between the water molecules. Mutual attraction between the water molecules. Okay, because of this only there is a continuous water column in the xylem will be maintained, right? Okay, then let us move on to the next question, question number 108. Okay, the chief role of transpiration in plants is to cause. Okay, the chief role of transpiration in plants is to cause. The different options are like this. Loss of surplus water, then B is cooling of the plant, then C is rapid ascent of sap, then D is rapid rise of minerals, right? And for question number 108, option C is the correct answer, right? The chief role of transpiration in plants is to cause rapid ascent of sap. Okay, it means when the transpiration occurs in the plant, and that is responsible for the development of the force or transpiration pull in the plant or in the leaf part. Okay, and because of this tension or transpiration pull, the water shows the rapid movement here. Okay, rapid ascent of sap, right? Okay, so option C is the correct answer, right? Then let us move on to the next question, question number 109, right? What is the question here? The loss of water in the form of vapor from the aerial plant parts is known as, right? Aerial plant parts is known as, the different options are like this. One is osmosis, then second one is respiration, then photosynthesis, then transpiration, right? And here the correct option will be transpiration only. Okay, now it is the definition of transpiration, right? So option D is the correct answer. Okay, then next one, 110. Guard cells are found in, guard cells are found in stomata, then root tips, then ovary, then lenticels. Okay, and already we have studied the structure of stomata. Okay, guard cells will be found in the stomata only, right? Okay, which are bean or kidney shaped in case of dicot leaves, and which are dumbbell shaped in case of monocot leaves, right? So option A is the correct answer, guard cells. Okay, and remember, the opening and closing of stomata is depends on the uh, uh, turgidity of the guard cells only, right? Okay, so however option A becomes the correct answer. For 110, option A becomes the correct answer. Okay, then let us move on to the next question. Okay, 111, right? The position and frequency of stomata can be determined by, right? The position and frequency of stomata can be determined by calculating the loss of water, then cobalt chloride paper method, then third one is photometer, then fourth one is porometer, right? And remember, the position and frequency of stomata can be determined by the experiment called as cobalt chloride method. Okay, cobalt chloride paper method, right? So option B is the correct answer, right? Okay, and here remember, porometer is different, photometer is also different. Okay, then next one is 112, question number 112, right? In both the transpiration and evaporation, water is lost in the form of vapor, yet they differ because, okay, and the different options are like this. One is both transpiration and evaporation are similar, but the rate of water loss differs, right? They are not similar, right? So this is incorrect. Okay, and frequency of water loss in is different in both of them. Okay, this is also incorrect. Okay, third one, transpiration is a physical process and evaporation is a physiological process. Okay, this is also incorrect. And D, transpiration is a physiological process and evaporation is a physical process, right? And this is the correct answer now, right? Transpiration is a physiological process and evaporation is a physical process. Okay, they differ in both these two, transpiration and evaporation. Okay, so for question number 112, option D becomes the correct answer, right? Then let us move on to the next question, question number 113, right? What is there? Out of the following, which one is the most common type of transpiration, right? What are those? Foliar, then stomatal, then lenticular, then cuticular, right? And remember, for 113, option B becomes the correct answer. Out of the following, which one is the most common type of transpiration? Okay, and remember, um, regarding this question, okay, in textbook this information is not there, but when we study the transpiration process, the transpiration can be divided into three types. Okay, what are those? Foliar transpiration, or it is also called as stomatal transpiration, then lenticular transpiration, then as well as the cuticular transpiration. Three different types will be there, and here foliar and stomatal refers to same here. Okay, and here why we call it as the stomatal or foliar transpiration, because it occurs through the leaves. Okay, in the leaves stomata will be there. Okay, and most of the amount of water is lost through the stomata only, right? And some amount of water is transpired through the lenticels, but the negligible amount of water will also be transpired through the cuticle, okay, which is present on the surface of the uh, plant organ, like the young stem as well as the leaf, right? And remember, lenticular means the lenticels or the lens shape openings will be formed on the old stems. Okay, so we call it as the lenticular transpiration. Then cuticle, which occurs through the cuticle part, right? Okay, and here most common type of transpiration will be what is that one? Stomatal transpiration only. Stomatal, the more relevant answer will be stomatal transpiration, right? Option B is the correct answer. Okay, then question number 114, in a hot summer day, in a hot summer day, a plant cools itself due to, okay, in a hot summer day a plant cools itself due to what are the different options here? Loss of water vapors from leaf, then transport of water in plant, then loss of liquid water, then loss of water from entire plant, right? And for question number 114, option A is the correct answer. Okay, loss of water vapors from the leaf. Okay, In a hot summer day, a plant cools itself due to loss of water vapors from the leaf. Okay, it means due to transpiration, it will give the cooling effect to the plant, right? Okay, so option A is the correct answer. Okay, this is one advantage of the transpiration, right? Okay, then question number 115. Guard cells are surrounded by guard cells are surrounded by the different options are like this: epidermal hairs, then mesophyll cells, then palisade cells, then next one is subsidiary cells, right? And here, when we study the structure of stomata, the guard cells are surrounded by the subsidiary cells. Okay, subsidiary cells, or we can say that subsidiary cells are present in the vicinity of the guard cells. Okay, it means immediately next to the guard cells, what will be present here? Subsidiary cells will be present, right? Okay, so option D is the correct answer. Okay, then let us move on to question number 116. 116, what is there? Which of the following is an adaptation to reduce water loss, right? Which of the following is an adaptation to reduce water loss, right? What are the different options here? Presence of thick cuticle, then change of leaf into spine, then change of leaf into phylloclade, then all of these, right? Okay, and here these are adaptation to reduce water loss. Okay, it means in plants we observe all these adaptations, like the presence of thick cuticle. Okay, then change of leaf into spine, right? It means the spines will be modified into the leaves will be modified into spines. Okay, this is to reduce the water loss, second adaptation. Then third adaptation will be change of leaf, means it is nothing but the modification. The leaf will be modified into a flattened leaf like structure called as the phylloclade. Okay, and this can be observed in case of the plant called as apuntia or cactus, right? Okay, change of leaf into spine means we can use the same example like apuntia or cactus. And presence of thick cuticle. Okay, and here for this one we can give the example of calotropis, right? Okay, or nerium. Okay, these are all the adaptations to reduce the water loss. So option D becomes the correct answer, right? And let us go for question number 117. Which of the following is called necessary evil? Okay, necessary evil. What is the correct answer here? uh, Osmosis, absorption, then transpiration, then photosynthesis, right? And here option C, or transpiration, is called as the necessary evil. Okay, but we are not going to study this concept in a textbook. Okay, and remember why we are going to call it as the necessary evil, because it shows both the transpiration process, so shows both the advantages as well as the disadvantages. Okay, because of this reason only Curtis, in the year 1926, he called it as the necessary evil, right? Okay, so option C is the correct answer, right? Then question number 118. Which of the following plants economizes the transpirational loss of water, right? And here the options are like this: C3, C4, then both equally, then C2 plants, right? And we have already studied that the C4 plants, okay, they can they show the economy with relation to transpirational loss of water. Okay, it is C4 plants only, right? And mm, what is the important point here? A C4 plant loses only half as much water as a C3 plant for the same amount of carbon dioxide fixed, right? And you can refer the concept, that is transpiration and photosynthesis, a compromise, right? It is in page number 189. right? So for question number 118, what is the correct answer here? Option B is the correct answer, right? And let us move on to the next question. Question number 119. The condition under which transpiration would be most rapid is, okay, the condition under which transpiration would be most rapid is, what are the different options here? High humidity, then excess of water in soil, then low humidity, high temperature, guard cells are turgid and moist soil, then low velocity of wind, right? Okay, and for question number 119, option C becomes the correct answer. Okay, the condition under which transpiration would be most rapid is low humidity, high temperature, guard cells are turgid condition, and moist soil. Okay, all these are responsible for the rapid transpiration process only, right? Okay, option C is the correct answer, right? Okay, and then let us move on to the next question. Question number 120. The transpiration in plants will be lowest. Okay, the transpiration in the plants will be lowest. What are the different options here? When there is high humidity in the atmosphere, okay, then high wind velocity, then there is excess of water in the cell, then environmental conditions are very dry, right? And for question number 120, option A becomes the correct answer. Okay, the transpiration in plants will be lowest when there is high humidity in the atmosphere, right? And here, what is the meaning of humidity here? It is the concentration of water vapor. Okay, it is the concentration of water vapor present in the air or atmosphere, right? Okay, because if the humidity is high, then the transpiration will be, or the transpiration rate will be lowest, right? Okay, so option A is the correct answer. Okay, and I will stop here, and from question number 121 onwards I will discuss in the next YouTube class. Okay, thank you for patient hearing.